God Calling. This film was released in 2018 and it has been able to channel its way through to Netflix in 2021, and that's a good achievement. Apparently, it was able to go on CNN African Voices because it's an appreciated film because of its conventional way of transforming a young lady in this modern life into Christianity. Hey guys, welcome back to Sahara Movies. I'm here again and today I'm reviewing God Calling. I watched it recently and I would like to share my thoughts as usual and give credit to what I appreciate and then some suggestion as well. If you are new to this channel, don't forget to subscribe for more videos and more updates. So if you have seen God Calling, it will be, let's say, 1 in 10 films that are released these days. These days, normally we focus on romance and all that, but this will be an exception because it focuses on how a young woman is able to see Christ in a modern way. You see, like in this modern aspect, how Christ is able to come to us or come to you using modern means instead of the old ways of having dreams and all that. So this young woman apparently happens to be the only daughter of her parents and very rich. So she's from a very rich home. So she's not someone I would expect her to be into Christ, like someone who will grow into Christ, because what will be her needs that she would want to go to Christ to ask for? Basically, there are some who go to Christ when they need something, but being born in so much lavish and all that, it will make sense that someone like this will not decide to find Christ. She marries a very intelligent young man who is from a poor home. I wouldn't say a poor home per se, who is from far, far away, like the village, and whose dad has been able to maneuver or has been able to sweat his hustle and taking him to an institution that has been able to gain him much expertise to be able to be noticed by the young woman's father. That's how come Sade, the young woman, married let's say her current husband. The film talks about how she was able to transform her old ways to a new way. You know, sometimes in life, when you are being exposed to something and you are a bit reluctant about it, you need force. There's a saying that goes, if persuasion fails, force is applied. So this young lady, I'm sure she needs to go to Christ, or she felt the need to go to Christ, but at the same time she felt the need not to go to Christ because she had everything she needs. She had a good husband, she had her daughter, her parents are rich, she's living in her own house, she's not working, like she has everything. So what's the point in going to follow Christ when it's believed that those who follow Christ are people who, quote unquote, I need? That is her perception, because from her point she's saying that the pastors are using Christ to extract money from congregation and all that. So from her expressions, you know that from onset she doesn't believe in this going to church and all that. She has a wonderful daughter who played her part so well. And the part she played, I really appreciated it. The fact that she's a very young lady, a very young girl, and she played her part so well. She played her part perfectly as a daughter, perfectly as a growing up child. Like, I really appreciated the part that Sade's daughter played. But her daughter is someone who would want to know Christ, who is interested in Christ, who believes in Christ. Even though she's young, she still has the belief that Christ is a miracle worker. Christ is a miracle worker. And she doesn't really mind if her mom doesn't believe in that. The reason why I made this statement that sometimes in life you need to go through a certain force before you can accept that you need to accept something. Sade lost her daughter. Yes, Sade lost her daughter painfully. And that was where she went through the breakthrough of accepting Christ as her savior, accepting that it's time for me to accept Christ. Like she finalized the decision that it's time for me to accept Christ. And at that time that she lost her daughter, she had lost all hopes because her husband felt desperate. That was their only child, and apparently that's what the doctor said. That would be the only child they can ever have. That was what the doctor said. And she's a drug, let me say, I wouldn't say a drug dealer, but she does drugs. So if you're doing drug and I'm trying to talk you out of it, and then I find you doing grad this day, and then on that same day you lose, like our daughter dies, like what's the first mind thing that I'll be like, it's your negligence, so I'll blame you for this. So she started living a very lonely life. Her husband was also staying away from home. He was almost about to cheat and all that. So this story is trying to, from the picture I saw in this story, the start was very good for me. Like, I really appreciated the storyline from the onset until when Sade's daughter died. Yes, until when the daughter died, I began to notice some discontinuity. I saw that I think there was a change in like continuity of the story. That's what I'm thinking, because I could see that the story wanted to end on a particular path, but the road to channel it to that path became a bit rough. Yeah, because when you watch how Sade was introduced into Christ, or how she accepted Christ eventually, though it makes sense, or though it's realistic, it's a bit lumpy. Like, I don't know if you get this. It's a bit, I'm giving my review on this. It's a bit lumpy, but from the start of the story, I got the picture that this lady is a lady that will eventually go to Christ. Like, you will get the picture that Sade will eventually go to Christ. But how will she go to Christ? So how the movie was executing that part was a bit lumpy for me, but all the same, I think it was a good movie. It's a good one that if you haven't seen, you should draw your mind to it. How it's a good movie in general, but there's always room for improvement. For me, I think how Sade channeled her way to Christ wasn't that realistic. Let me put it, I don't want to use the word realistic because it's not supposed to be a realistic. Yeah, when you're encountering Christ, you don't understand what you go through. By the time you realize you have already encountered him, it's not supposed to be realistic. That's the fact. But I feel it should have been done in a different way. That's what I feel. I feel it should have been done in a different way. But I give thumbs up to this film. It was a good one. It's something that when you watch, it can also alter your Christian path. It can alter your Christian beliefs and make you a strong Christian. There was one thing I appreciate so much in this film is the production. I really congratulate the production team. They did a good job. They did an extremely good job. I always say this. When I was watching it, you see, when you finish watching, they showed behind the scenes, and production was on point. If I should give the storyline 50 over 100, I'll give production 99 over 100. It really met my expectations. Like, production was on point. From where Sade's dad was supposed to be wearing, like, let's say, support, like leg support. His leg has been amputated because it said that he was a warrior, so like he lost one of his leg during war. And that part that they used, like, it was good. I appreciate production in God Calling. It's a very good production. How they were able to change his leg and make it look real later was good. It was very, very good. I appreciate the production that was involved in God Calling. And there was another part too at the scene that Sade wanted to commit suicide. We know that in this technology era, much work is not really involved in the acting. It's basically involved in the editing, the production, the camera, and all that. And I appreciate that scene also a lot. So at that scene, we saw that Sadi jumped into I don't know whether it's a river or water. Like, it looked like London Bridge to me. It looked like a London Bridge, and apparently it looked so real to me in the film. But apparently that was green screen, and I was like, "Are you serious?" Like, watching an African movie and seeing this great production is good. It's very, very good. I appreciate the production that was involved in God Calling. It's a good one. I might not be 100% on the storyline, but the production was dope. I really enjoyed the production. I'm trying to educate my people what to expect when watching a movie. We shouldn't only be so engrossed in the story and lose concentration. We should take note of the storyline, the acting, the production. That is what makes a good movie a good movie. So God Calling, I would say, is a good one that I'll recommend. Yeah, it's a good job. The good job was involved. The acting was good, but the storyline is not something I'll give it 100%. You cannot be perfect though, but the storyline will have some issues with me. Not me per se, but comparing it to production, I think good production was involved in this one. Eventually, there was unity in the family. There was unity between Sade's husband and Sade herself. There was unity because everyone began to understand what Sade was going through. Everyone understood that Sade has encountered Christ, and the drugs in her previous life became over. She later became someone like a messenger, like counseling people. She tells you what not to do and what to do, and if you disobey, you face your consequences. So that was a good storyline though, but I feel more needed to be done. I feel it has there was a good idea in this film, but the execution was a bit difficult. Yeah. Let me know your thoughts on this. Have you watched God Calling? What are your general thoughts? So, as I've said earlier, when you're watching a movie, please let's look out for this: the production, the acting, and the storyline. Please let's take note. We shouldn't only take note of the storyline and get carried away and all that. All these contributes to a good movie. I end here for today. If you are new to this channel, don't forget to subscribe for more videos and more updates. I'll see you in my next video. Till next time, bye.